Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Before You Run. I am Sennight, your host today, but we're gonna have a co-host, obviously. And today we're gonna have some fun racing Medievalian, a game that's not even out yet, but obviously, as per Before You Run rule set, these two runners, so Autumn and Poulet Sans Tête, will race completely blind. They have never played Medievalian. Now, obviously, since the game is not out yet, that's normal. They've received their game key quite last minute. They did just a control check to make sure that their controls are working. So they might have a small idea of how the game is played, obviously, but they never actually tried the game. Together with my partner, Riven, that should join in a second, just making sure that the runners are ready and set to go, but we're gonna experience that together. Now, obviously, me and Revan had the amazing chance to actually be able to try the game a little bit before, so we know a little bit of what's going on. Obviously, this is a game that's still in beta. There might be some bug. Don't you guys be too surprised. That's normal. But that should be a very good example of what the game is all about. And I think I'm joined with my partner, Revan.
Hello, everyone.
So Poulet Sans Tête and Autumn are already firing off the game. There's going to be a very quick cutscene, or in which they can actually chat with a wizard. But the game is a roguelike action game, so you are going to try to dodge enemy and shoot at them at the same time, if possible, and that's going to be some kind of a rough game.
Absolutely. This game can be a little bit rough, especially for, your first run, like any game. I guess the premise of this, though, is that this wizard here that they're talking to can actually reset time. So every time they will die, they'll end up being respawned in this room in a separate timeline.
So what you see on Poulet Sans Tête's side is really important. This is you deciding what's going to happen to you, so you can choose what's easy right now, but obviously you can see like the chains of stages, and they're going to have an hour and a half to get the furthest they can. If they die, that's fine. They can retry as much as they can. They will die. Don't get me wrong. Don't you worry too much. They're going to suffer a lot. But the point is, it's not the number of stage total they clear in multiple timeline. It's the most stage in one timeline they can clear. So if somebody gets to stage 7, the other player has to beat that. And obviously, if it ends up in a tie, which it might because the game gets obviously tougher and tougher, it's going to be determined by who got there first. So off to a good start. Guys are going to try to understand their tools, their weapon, their everything. But what's nice is your bombs and stuff like that are not consumables. They're cooldown based, so never feel bad about throwing bombs at stuff. And here we go. Medievalian. The name says it all. It's medieval with crossbows and bows, but there's aliens and lasers. So, yep. That's what you should expect from a game like that.
Absolutely. Both runners are going to start off with a basic crossbow, and they'll have a bear trap type item and a standard bomb. Both of their bear trap and their bomb, like Sand Knight said, is on a cooldown. The crossbow, you can actually have two weapons, then you can swap out between them on the fly. The crossbow is actually a fairly decent weapon. I think it's a fairly well balanced for newer players. There's several different weapon types that are can get down to more skilled path for more damage and added effects and stuff. And I'm sure we'll see some of that later on.
Yeah, so we have already a big difference in both players. Poulet chose to fight the aliens, but there's actually like, I don't want to say Cthulhu-like creatures, but like creatures of horror, I could call them. And that's what Autumn chose instead of aliens. Obviously, they didn't know. But I find, and Riven, I think you're the same. I find that the creatures are infinitely more dangerous than the aliens. The aliens shoot mini projectiles, but that can be dodged. But the dogs, man, they jump at you viciously.
Absolutely. The creatures on Autumn's side actually pair very well together, because generally there's dogs and there's these tentacle monsters. The tentacles can actually go underground, and if they hit you, they stun you. And the dogs, if they hit you with their lunge, actually give you a slow effect as well. So it combos perfectly.
Yeah, they can be quite a pain. So we're gonna see both our runners having to deal with different type of enemies. They're gonna choose the path they want to get through, is my point. But it's already impressive that no one has died yet, because I can tell you that when I did my first run, 4 minutes and 10, I was probably resetting for the second time.
Especially with the beast type enemies, they can be pretty brutal. They can be very brutal, actually.
The concept of speedrunning, I can see both of them try to speed, use a dodge roll to get a little bit faster, go from one screen to another really quickly, try to read items fast. But I like how their gameplay is at least just a little bit on the safe side. I mean, they're blind. You don't want to just get killed because you didn't understand what you were doing. So you cannot be just like 100% guns a-blazing. So they do take just a little bit of precaution, which I think it's pretty good. They start to learn enemy patterns, and if they want to get fast later on, because an hour and a half is a lot of time, gathering knowledge, it should be their number one priority right now.
I like what Autumn's doing in this encounter. She's actually using the bear trap to stop the dog, which can be a lot more difficult than it sounds on paper.
Yeah, absolutely. The tools you have are really, really freaking good, and it's really easy to forget and think like, oh, I just need to position myself for a crossbow shot. The bear trap against the dogs is genius, and also the bombs are actually pretty darn good as well. You can get extra type of bombs and stuff like that. But I think we have our first alien weapon. Do you want to give a quick rundown of how it works on Poulet's side?
Yeah, Poulet actually has a choice between two alien weapons. Generally speaking, they will require a currency underneath your health bar. The blue bar is energy, and when you pick up certain items, that your energy bar will reach a certain point, and you'll get a node. Energy weapons will generally require at least one. Stronger ones can require up to 2 or 3 per use, and there's also some items like different bomb type items that can require energy to be used as well. I haven't played around with too many of the alien weapons, but they're incredibly powerful if used correctly. So hopefully we'll get to see that shortly.
Yeah, it's mostly, you should consider them like as an ultimate weapon in other games. You do get energy for fighting enemies, so it's probably some kind of a weapon that you would use once or twice per stage. So choose the time you really want to use it, because you cannot like use it all the time. But it is a resource you can remake by just fighting. So it's probably something like 2 fights, I'm not going to have it. The 3rd fight, I can actually use it.
Absolutely. It's definitely a power weapon type of deal that we're talking about here.
Absolutely. But so far, Riven, as out of us two, we were practicing a little bit. Out of us two, Riven has done the best out of us two. Any alien weapons were definitely central to his strategy, which was genius, by the way.
Yeah, they even weak alien weapons can be incredibly powerful. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye out. But like it was stated, that you can't use them all the time. So deciding when and where to use them is absolutely vital.
Yes. So in terms of equipment, you can obviously get much more stuff. The bombs you can get some types of bombs. There's those freezing bombs, those poison bombs, burning bombs, stuff like that. You have many options that's gonna like deal status effect on top of dealing damage. You can have equipments with enchantments. If you think about Diablo, this is exactly what you're going to be thinking about. So items with a green name, a blue name, a purple name to say what rarity they are, and they're going to get enchantments that's going to change how they're played. So you could get a bomb that once it's explode, it's going to become 2 smaller bombs and explode again. You could get a a freeze bomb that has a very low cooldown compared to normal freeze bombs, and those do not take energies. It's only cooldown, so a shorter cooldown on those freezing bombs can be absolutely life-saving. It's also true for weapon. You could get like a crossbow that freezes, that slows, that burns, that deal extra damage to enemies that are already poisoned or something like that. So combining and building your character, they have not gone to a shop yet, but they will soon, I assume. Definitely is how you start to ramp up and become a little bit stronger.
Yes, the cooldown items like the different types of bombs are incredibly useful. Autumn actually picked up I think it's called a black hole bomb, which is it opens it essentially opens a black hole vortex type of deal that can pin down enemies, groups of enemies, into a single location. It doesn't do a whole ton of damage, but the positioning from that particular item and just its overall utility can be incredibly useful.
Absolutely. And I want to take a second to say that we have some developers in chat that came in to say hi today. I am very happy to see you guys in here. Thank you very much for joining in. And please, guys in chat, go and give at least a look at the game on Steam. Maybe wishlist the game. It doesn't cost you anything. It's really helps the developer get some visibility. They definitely deserve it. The game is coming out soon, but I think this game definitely is a cool game, and you should give it a quick look. Can't wait for the game to actually get out. And we have our first death, Autumn, at 10 minute 10, which is incredible. Definitely at least 3 times better than the first time I played. Let's see how she's gonna use the knowledge she gathered through that first death and try to actually get a little bit further this time.
Absolutely. Considering how fast these runners are playing, 10 minutes for your first death is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I am definitely surprised. I was trying to be, clever and taking my time, and I died much faster than that. So let's go, Autumn. Make sure you get a little bit deeper this time. And she's gonna have to deal with a completely different map this time. So she can plan ahead a little bit more now that she knows what some of these nods mean. And you see, this time she takes aliens instead of beasts. Let's see how she fares against that.
Also, a point of note, I guess it's not obvious on screen right now, but both runners have been encountering tiles with like a lightning bolt type of icon on it in the stages. And I don't believe they know it yet, but you can actually warp back to those points at any time.
Yes, that's true. Once you click on those tiles, there's like a blue beam that just goes like, oh, and you can use these tiles to warp around. When I realized that, I was really, really happy, but it's not necessarily the first thing you think it's used for. And actually, it comes out in some other games, so I don't know why I didn't catch it was going to do that. But yeah, I thought it was some kind of like unlock X of those keys to, unlock the exit. But no, as soon as you find the exit, you can be out if you want. Poulet Sans Tête does his first shopping, and he buys a lot of stuff. I haven't actually grasped everything he bought, but I saw some consumables and stat upgrades. Is he gonna get for a better bombs? All right, and he's ready to move. That's actually one strategy to go if you really want to get like as many stages as you can. Depending on how much you think your opponent is going to do, you can actually try to take a path in which there is many shops in a row, because they count as a stage cleared, and you're going to do many runs, is my point, in an hour and a half. So why not sacrifice one of those runs to do like a cheap run, a run where you don't get stronger because you don't fight as much, you just change shop as much as you can to actually get a run where you maybe reach stage 7 easily, and then try to beat that by playing the game and getting actually stronger. That could be a strategy.
I like what Poulet did there. Before he went to his next stage, he actually used some consumable items. You can see he's doing it again here. These items can drastically change your encounter. You can completely change whatever that node was. I believe he changed that first one into a shop from another encounter type entirely.
he gets the 3-dog fight. I got that encounter once, and even though to tell you that's 3 dogs, like he sees them now, this is not an easy fight. Now he's got bombs and bear traps. Okay, yeah, bombs is gonna help a lot, but oh my god, he plays that like a pro. Oh,
here.
Oh. I might have spoke too soon. He's getting bodied.
On Autumn's side here, she actually has the choice between an alien weapon and a special cooldown item that can actually stun lock the robot type enemies at the cost of some energy.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's done with this event. What's nice of these smaller random events is that they're really short. So for speedrunning purposes, these are very good. 3 dogs, you're done, go out. Obviously, they don't pay out as much as a full stage like Autumn is doing. So Autumn might actually be getting stronger. But what's interesting is Poulet is using those consumables you were talking about. They are very interesting in a casual playthrough as well. These changes what the next stage is going to be. And it can be many things like enemies is going to drop more gold, or changes the type of enemy to another type. Change the node itself. It's an encounter. Now it's a shop. These are all, or add more unique enemies. Yeah, it's going to make it harder, but you're going to get more loot. So you can configure your experience, and for speedrunning, mastering them, I think will be definitely key. Now, the drops are random, but considering the tools you have and the decision you make with them, I think is going to be key to a good speedrun.
Here we just saw Autumn be the first one to pick up what's called a bypass key, which is essentially a key to an alien specific chest. You can get resources called artifacts, which some of the cooldown items can use, or you can actually spend them in shops to buy some better alien technology, or it can actually just outright give you, better alien type weapons, armaments, and such.
Yeah, but the alien chests, like you said, are always gonna have alien weapons. In which, I think it would always be clever to at least have one, even though you can use your energy to open some energy chests. I think it would be clever to actually always have a energy weapon, so that your resources not lost, right? And having some of those guns are really, really, really good. We have our first new weapon type. Poulet Santet is using a piercing bow. So you can see that arrow line go away from him and grow bigger. There's a timing thing when the arrow changes color. If you unleash at that moment, your arrow is not only going to be a little bit more powerful, but it's actually going to pierce the enemy you shoot and shoot an enemy behind it as well. So it might be a slower weapon, but in terms of damage and actually combos, it can be very, very potent.
Not only that, but the large arrow can actually make it a bit easier to aim from a distance as well. So he has that bit of advantage there as well.
And you see those 24 damage, whereas he was doing 8 with his old crossbow. So it's longer to shoot, but it's the equivalent of 3 crossbow shots. So every time he hits, and if he pierces, that can be even better. You're going to see an alien chest on Autumn's side. Oh, okay, no, we get...
She found a fate crystal. It's an item that you can actually spend to unlock permanent upgrades at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Those are always nice to find. She actually has 2, apparently. I missed the first one. But those are nice finds.
Yeah, she's got a well as well. You can throw gold in it, and the more gold you throw, I assume the more chance to get something good. But sometimes you also just throw money into a well and you lost the money, right? But she got some stuff. Excellent. And she's just looting away everything she can, and that's definitely the way to go. I'm getting some items to modify the next stage and some gold. Right, excellent. They're just fighting off, making sure that everything is fine. Their strategies is now a little bit more lock and loaded. I can't wait to see. Oh, we have a crossbow, purple one to sell, but she doesn't have enough money right now. Sadly, she just throw all her money in a well, so sadly.
It looks like she was debating on buying that healing item there. Is she gonna? It looks like she will.
Yeah, I think that's
not a bad idea. That is not a bad idea.
Yeah, health is definitely a resource in this game that you really need to pay attention to because it doesn't refill between stages. So every time you get hit, you feel just a little bit like, okay, that's something that's gonna follow me for a while. And while that's true, you sometimes get refills in destructible barrels and stuff. That's not something you need to think that's gonna happen when you need it, right? And she's in another event that I've actually seen once. So there's many robots. One of them has a shield at the end, but that's gonna be a rough encounter for Autumn. And
Absolutely.
we have
there's a lot of enemies in a small area in this encounter. It's thankfully there's some decent amount of cover though, so she can pull through with this. It might take a little bit though.
Poulet Sans Tête has got his first death at almost 20 minutes. That's really, really good. He's gonna go right away to his next timeline and see if he can beat his clear stage, while Autumn is actually whacking at that mini boss. You need to pay attention to as well. Autumn is actually fighting that robot. There's a sphere rolling around, and maybe she just got it, but that sphere turning is dealing damage to you again and again. And the axis or the distance at which it spins around the enemy changes all the time. So it's really, really painful to fight against.
Thankfully, she encountered that enemy when most of the other ones were dead already. It can be incredibly difficult to keep track of that spinning sphere on top of 6 or 7 different enemies as well.
Yeah, and the robot's AI, I don't know how it's made, but I really like it because so far as to what I've understood, and I've not played too much yet, but so far what I understood is that they shoot 2 times at you, and their third shot is actually going to lead you, so they're going to shoot to where you're going. So you cannot just keep a direction held in hope to dodge. You're going to need to dodge, and then stay. And so if you try to remember that pattern in your head, you're not going to think about that small ball that's turning around the enemy. And combine all of this together, that is sometimes just a little bit too much for small Send Knight's brain.
I like this strategy that Poulet just did. I think he noticed that if you go too far out of a room, it actually resets the encounter in that room.
Ooh.
But he used that to his advantage to try and trap the dog with his bear trap. And as they were running away, he jumped back in the room and took a couple pot shots at them before they could get back in range. I like that.
Absolutely. So these are considered rooms, and corridors that connects them are 2 different things. The enemies will never follow you in corridors. So the encounter is considered the room. Now, you got to pay attention to that because sometimes the game is going to have a modifier to a room, and one of them can be once you're in the room, that room is locked and you can't get away from it. So that strategy will work for as long as that's not going to happen, and then it won't work at all anymore. Autumn with a second death on stage 3.
It looked like the dog jumped over her bear trap, which is one of the points that I was talking about earlier. Trapping the dogs with that is a bit more difficult than it sounds on paper.
Absolutely. And we have the confirmation from chat that the robots do use predictive shooting. So I died to that way more than I want to admit. But I got better. But these guys are dealing pretty well with it so far. Already 20 minutes in, and they have only died Autumn it's her second death, but Pula only died once, but she just died for the second time. So they're gathering knowledge. They're gonna see different builds as well. That's what's really interesting. That's the reason why you want to jump right back at these kinds of game. And we have a repeating crossbow on Poulet Sans Tête's side.
Absolutely. He just picked up one of my favorite weapons to play with. It stops you from being able to move, but it has infinite firepower when you...
Oh, that's a Kranikin.
Yes. I don't think you saw one of these in our playtest, but I've picked them up a couple times. They are fantastic weapons.
Yeah, if you keep them hold, you can shoot like crazy. Yeah. That's a
Yeah,
Kranikin. Okay.
yeah. It's actually fantastic for fighting off the beast type monsters because they just when they especially the dogs because they aggro onto you and they run straight for you.
Yeah.
Your arrows actually give them a bit of a stagger. So with that infinite firepower, you kind of just lock them in place until they die.
Oh, I like it. I thought it was a repeating crossbow, which I like as well. But man, this is really another level. Now, obviously, versus robots, I assume is a little bit more painful because you kind of need to dodge out of the way.
Exactly,
Man.
exactly. The robots are a bit of a different story because of their projectiles. I didn't find it to be quite as good, but it's still good in general, I believe.
Yeah, for sure. If you dodge out of the way and then start shooting, I like it. I like it. But it's nice to see that there are different weapon types. Even in one category, so repeating crossbow, normal crossbow, Kranikin are all 3 different crossbow types. But we haven't talked about bow yet, and as far as I understood, bows actually can shoot faster but have less range. So it seems like the type of weapon that you would probably want to get the better you're at the game. But obviously, we were all about crossbows during our practices because you shoot farther, so you can learn enemy pattern better and have more time to react to shots and stuff. But I guess that once you get really good at dodging enemy shot, you prefer to have the extra firepower from a bow. And we have a boss battle on Poulet Santé's side, which shoots ice beam from the sky.
Yeah, luckily he didn't have too many enemies on him at that point.
Yeah.
Those types of rooms can be pretty brutal depending on what you get stuck in the room with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So you could concentrate only on like dodging the dog and the beams, but when there's like 3 extra dogs and 2 tentacles, that's gonna be a different story for sure. And we have a choice. Composite bow.
Or a restock option. The restock generally when you go to a merchant, you can only buy one. Like if he has a cheese wheel in stock, you can only buy that one. That restock is a modifier, I believe, to a level stage. So if you know you're going to a merchant shop, you can use that ahead of time and be able to buy more than one of that particular item.
Interesting. So I think the composite bow is the one that shoots the arrow that pierces, right?
I believe so, yes.
Nice. Did he use something to refill the chest? I think he did.
He did. He had a cooldown item that actually let him redo time to just before he opened the chest, so he actually got 2 chest openings for the price of 1.
Nice. Those cost energy though, so that's one of the things you can do with your energy. Just getting extra chests to get more stuff to actually become stronger and maybe move further. All right. So Autumn during that time is just making sure to take off enemy slowly but surely. No question to just rush things off. This is going to be more, for a long time, I think it's going to be much more of a thing of endurance than a thing of speed. They're going to get quicker at it, but that's going to take a little bit of time. And this is exactly what Before You Run is all about. It is seeing how speedrunners become very, perfect at recreating such beautiful speedruns, but they all pass through what these guys are doing right now, which is the painful process of understanding the game and getting good at it. And the first runs is always something that I have always been really happy to see, and see somebody start a new game and try learning it from the point of view of a speedrunner. And obviously doing blind speedruns is exactly what I like to see in action.
I'm liking that both of these runners are not afraid to use their cooldown items. It was something that I struggled with a little bit when I first did with my first couple runs. I don't know why, but it was just ingrained that I just want to shoot everything. And I'm glad that I'm not seeing that here. They're actually being pretty generous with their their cooldown items.
Absolutely. And Poulet Sans Tête has discovered the mighty power of teleporters. He will be zooming through stages now. That's going to help a lot. During that time, Autumn is fighting a robot that has the ice beam from the sky, but she dispatches that very well. Good play, Autumn. And she gets rewarded with either a boomstick or a, I think that's, which one is that?
I believe that is the counter to robots. It can stun in a wide range.
Yeah, true. The one that prevents them from acting for a while. Yeah, that's really good. She doesn't seem to know what to choose.
It is a hard choice. She doesn't have a second cooldown item yet, but the boomstick, you can't go wrong with a shotgun, right?
Never wrong with a shotgun. So we see some modifiers being put for Poulet. He really quickly grasped how it worked, and he's really using it a lot. I don't know if the choices you make are like, I'm putting everything in it, or if he's just like carefully planning whatever he's doing. But I think both can work at least for a while, and then I think the later you get into the stages, the more you really want to make sure that you do not put too many like extra bosses on stages that are already hard. But early on, it's going to give you more loot. So I think that's pretty clever to do that and clear that, even though you're a little bit weaker to start the stage. All right. Running around. Poulet's got a pretty good bow. I don't know that. I think Autumn has been playing with the normal crossbow for a long time now. I don't think she's been lucky enough to get much better weapon as far as I've seen. So that might be something she will be quite happy if she ever gets her hands on something.
She should be quite happy with that pickup she just got. She found some modded bombs that allow her bombs to actually get critical hits now.
Yep.
And that she just found a lockpick as well. If she finds a bypass key, she actually has a 20% chance to not consume that key from opening a chest with that now, which is, 20% is nothing to, scoff at.
Absolutely.
Especially considering bypass keys are somewhat rare to find, so it's nice to be able to keep them as long as possible.
Yeah, exactly. You really want to make sure that you keep those resources in if you can, but obviously this is a little bit random. But the more resources you have, the more chests you can open and the more gear you can have. And even if you don't intend to use the item in the chest, you can always sell them. And once you sell them, you can have money to go in a shop, and she still gets a boomstick. That's nice. Right. They're getting much more comfortable with both the control and how the game is played. And it's beautiful to actually see them, run super fast now. Well, super fast, as fast as they can onto the new encounter and then dispatch enemy much quicker. It's only been half an hour. These guys know this game for 30 minutes now, and they're already getting more comfortable. I can't express how impressed I am by both Poulet and Autumn. Way to go, guys.
Poulet just did an action, something that I didn't really consider either. He's using his composite bow has the charge arrow, and what he's doing, he's charging his bow and using that arrow to inform where his bomb is going to land. And he just used that to one-shot 2 different robot types, which is incredibly smart, and I wish I would have thought of that myself.
Are you trying to say that the runners are becoming smarter than we are?
Absolutely. These are actual speedrunners.
We need to run away. It's Skynet all over again. Run! All right, so... Oh, yeah, okay, Poulet pays for the well. Do we get something in exchange for that? Absolutely nothing. Money thrown into a well. He's not going to be super happy about that, especially considering you can throw a hefty amount of money. I think at one point you had the option to spend 500 in that well, right?
Yeah, I've seen 50, 100, and 500 gold totals being thrown down the well, and losing 500 gold to a well that doesn't give you anything is incredibly not only disappointing, but can be run ending, to be fair, because you don't have that money for upgrades later on.
Yeah, you went to a shop just after that happened, and you didn't have money for nothing, and you needed some upgrades. Oh, we haven't talked about Vampire Lady yet. We have not seen her yet. Do you
No,
want?
we haven't gotten there yet.
Talk about
Uh,
Vampire Lady just in case she comes up.
Sure, in case she comes up, there is a particular node, I forget what the node is actually called, but there's a woman who actually seems quite annoyed by encountering you again because of the timeline situation going on. But she's actually brewing a potion and offers to give you some free of charge, of course. But what this potion does is it's going to cut your max HP in half, but it's going to give you a vampirism effect. So every time you do damage, 1% of that damage will be reverted into healing for you. Which is it's a double-edged sword, because yes, you do lose 50% of your max HP, which can be pretty devastating in a game like this. But the healing effect can be so beneficial to your survival that I believe that it evens out it actually balances out in your favor, I believe.
I think so as well. When I saw you play, like what's good if you are at 40 HP? What's good having a higher maximum if you don't find enough health items to recover it? Whereas if you have lifesteal, yeah, you have a smaller maximum, but you're always bouncing up and down and up and down. And at the end of the day, you end up having more HP as long as you can survive to heal for it. 1% is really small amount. By design, I assume. So you can see that they're dealing into 20 damage. So that's going to heal you for 1. There's a minimum of 1 you're going to get back. So it means that hitting more is really good. But at some point, it's just definitely much more healing, I think, than what you would have gotten by keeping your max HP higher.
Absolutely, especially considering what weapon type you have. Because I've had the vampirism with repeating crossbow, for example, that shoots 5 crossbow bolts at once. So they can be incredibly good, and we've seen that the Kranikin that just keeps shooting and shooting and shooting as long as you hold the button. So as long as you're hitting something and taking as minimal hits back as possible, it's absolutely worth it. Because it can undo that one unfortunate hit, or that one unfortunate encounter early on in the game can just be completely undone with that effect.
Oh, Poulet Santat is fighting another robot boss with the ice beams from the sky. Don't get hit by the satellites. That can be quite a pain. As long as you're in the room, it doesn't even need to be on screen. He always sees you, and he's gonna need to have a plan of action. But yeah, right now there are he was inside where the defenses are actually protecting against shots. So yeah, you needed to have a plan. The enemy got out, and that's exactly what Poulet Santat needed. Dispatch the enemy actually fairly easily. Let's go, Poulet. And they are moving forward. All right.
It looks like both runners have found the importance of breaking open these boxes. These large rooms here with tons and tons of boxes can have all kinds of varying items, different incredible weapons you can get. Oftentimes you can get healing items in there, or just straight like pipes and whatnot that convert to artifacts for later on.
We see actually Autumn as a repeating crossbow. She's gonna be over the moon about having a new weapon. It's a green one as well. It's probably got some enchantments. Couldn't get my highs on that real quick, but that's gonna be big. Oh, she also have a Kranakin, but she decided to not use it anymore. I think she loves the mobility of the repeating crossbow, because even though it doesn't shoot infinitely, it's only like bursts. You can move during those bursts, and that's big as well. She picks up some.
Absolutely, the repeating crossbow is probably my favorite weapon that I've encountered, with the Kranikin coming in a very close second.
Yeah, absolutely. Crossbows all the way, but we probably need to explore bows more. But damn, that's an interesting weapon.
In chat, we're seeing Autumn should be picking up the unwanted items, which is absolutely true. If she encounters a merchant later on, she can sell those items for increased gold, or depending on what they are, maybe artifacts or something. But it's absolutely worth picking up because you can see in Poulet's overlay there, you have tons of space. It is absolutely worth picking up unwanted items just to sell them later, so you can get stuff that you do want.
My question then is that, did Autumn actually ever encounter a shop? Because if she doesn't know that's a thing, like I said, they are playing blind, then maybe she wouldn't keep them in inventory for not having it cluttered. I don't know.
I don't think Autumn has encountered a shop yet. Poulet's found a couple now.
Yes. Oh yeah, always more pack rat. The more space you can. And Poulet's actually reaching stage 4. I think that's tying his PB so far. So, and that is a shop. So he's going to get to stage 5, which is going to definitely be a PB for him now.
Both runners so far have gotten pretty lucky with what I call the energy chests. There's a type of chest that requires 2 energy to open. On Autumn's side, she just opened 2 of them in quick succession.
Yeah.
Both of the runners are actually getting pretty lucky because you can either get a positive result, which gives you items, a neutral result, which, you know, just nothing happens, or the chest can actually explode in your face.
Yeah. But as long as they're getting items, that's good. Obviously, getting nothing is kind of a pain, and the bomb is never good. But did she actually use a teleporter? I think she did, right?
It looked like she did, yes.
Excellent.
It looks like she also has the option between 2 merchants or a random event. Let's see. It looks like she wants to go down the random event route.
No shops for Autumn. She doesn't want to go shopping. She doesn't pick up the item.
This is the vampirism event that we were talking about. Let's see if she decides to take it. Well, she doesn't actually know what she's going to get out of this. So let's see if she takes it or not.
Oh yeah, she does. Absolutely.
There we go. Let's see how that plays out. Hopefully it plays out in her favor.
Autumn's vampire now. Let's go. Stage 5 for Poulet, stage 4 for Autumn. I think this is, like, you can see them evolving, and man, do I like seeing that. Let's go. Both Poulet and Autumn actually in a more comfortable position. Now, obviously, it's only 40 minutes in. I'll not even half the 1 hour and a half time period, but you can already see them making strides and getting further in. And that's a very quick event. I think Autumn is going to get through that quite easily, especially with Vampirism on now. Oh, no, that's a different one. Oh, I've never seen that one.
Yeah, sometimes you can get enemies in there, and other times it's just a free upgrade. On Poulet's side, he just left, but on Poulet's side, he actually found a smuggler event, which the smuggler is another shop that, but he specializes in the alien technologies.
Autumn has got a new bow. That's a legendary bow. It's orange, and I assume it's going to be quite powerful. Couldn't get to check what it does, but damn it, I can't wait to see that in action.
It looks like she has the bow that can actually shoot 3 arrows at once, which could be interesting. And it definitely has some kind of an effect on it. It's shooting purple arrows. I'm not sure if it might be a bleed effect if she hits something with it.
Yeah, we're going to need to see that in action, but damn, that's so cool. Oh, and Poulet actually gets the same event. Probably not the same items, obviously, but, you know. Oh, but he gets a unique potion as well. Wow. The gear is getting interesting.
The legendary black hole bomb. That is an incredible find. I am a big fan of the black hole bombs.
Oh man, it does many black holes.
Oh, and he has a split one. He can hit pretty much everything in a room with that. That is an incredible find. Hopefully he gets good use out of that.
Oh, this is what I like about those roguelike games with randomly generated gear. Sometimes it's just so stupid. I love it. So he's on stage 7 now. Wow. Okay, this is getting serious. You can choose the next event, but then everything else is going to be choiceless for the end. So that's the last choice you make.
And it looks like Autumn is only 1 stage behind him as well, which is very impressive. It took me several hours to get this far into the game. So you can tell these runners are actually very skilled at a game that they've never played before.
Exactly. Oh, there's going to be many dogs. Okay.
I like the use of the I think it's called a multi-string bow. That was an incredible use, being able to hit 3 of them at once and then finish them off with the repeating crossbow there.
Yeah, exactly. That's
good,
the point.
good use of item.
Yeah, and Autumn is switching weapons, like she's shooting with the bow to deal good damage and then finishing off with the quick crossbow. She's changing weapon on the fly, and I really like that. And I never thought of actually doing it mid-battle, so way to go, Autumn. Let's go.
And if you notice, she actually took a couple hits in that fight, and she's still at full health because of that vampirism effect.
Oh yeah, her health is much lower, so that's going to be tough for later on. But damn, does it feel good to actually finish every encounter full if you play consistently enough. So during that time, Poulet is reaching the next stage. I think that is a shop, if I'm not wrong. Or did it just... Oh, and Autumn is using modifiers as well. I think all the base game mechanic are learned and known by both runners at 44 minutes in. That's crazy. And they both need to feel they are on the run, which is so interesting considering, it's only like their 3rd or 4th run.
That can be the real kicker with these type of games, though. You can get one run where you get every item that you want, and then you can get maybe 5 or 6 runs where you just every encounter is a struggle. That's part of the fun of these type of games, and that's one of the reasons I love them so much.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
You're absolutely right, though. Both of these runners are on a roll, and it is an absolute joy to being able to watch these. And Poulet has actually encountered a new type of enemy with the beasts. They actually can shoot a fireball that turns the ground where they hit into a damaging effect.
Yes.
It'll catch you on fire for a little bit. It can be very difficult, especially because just the beasts in general are kind of difficult to deal with. And then
Autumn is down. Being blasted by way too many projectiles at a time, that was a little bit too much. Vampirism helped for a while, but sadly, the hourglass takes her and she goes back to stage 1. What a run, though.
That is unfortunate. That could have been a side effect of the vampirism cutting her max HP in half. If she had more HP total, then maybe she could have survived that. It's a give and take.
Absolutely. But I still think that she gained more HP than she lost due to that. So I still think that was a play. I think she made the right decision. But obviously at some point, like you said, it's a double-edged sword. It's going to have some drawbacks, and that might have been just a little bit too much that time for her. And the Black Hole Potion doing some great work on Poulet on that side. He is going to get pincered, though. So yeah, very good roll to get out of the way, making sure that he gets 1 beeline of enemies instead of being pincered by 2. He can use his piercing bow to shot 2 of them at once. That's definitely helping a lot. And that giant lizard is out of the way now. Very well played.
Absolutely. He's playing to his strength with the weapon types that he has available to him, trying to kite enemies into single lines so he can hit them multiples at once. Using his consumables to his advantage to lock down enemies. He's playing very well right now. Both runners are playing very well right now.
I 100% agree. I'm thoroughly impressed how these 2 runners are actually playing right now. Obviously, Autumn had a bad spot, but nothing she could have done. I don't think I would have survived longer than she did. But Poulet's got some very good weaponry as well, and he's playing out of his mind. Like, he's definitely charging the arrow, shooting and dodging at the same time, making sure that he optimizes the time he is away from enemy, and zoom in as much as he can. I really love watching both these runners go.
On Autumn's side here, we saw, I don't know if either runner has encountered this yet, but she found a fortune teller that can give you a chance to draw a card for a random effect. I didn't catch what card she got, but generally speaking, the card you pull is going to give you some kind of a positive effect.
The only one I got ever was only a bad effect. I lost HP and that's it. So I don't know about that, but some of them are probably pretty good. It's again a plus or minus type of thing.
It looked, unless I'm mistaken, it looks like she may have pulled the Joker card, which is, I think, the favorite that I've pulled. I think she did pull the Joker. Every 10 seconds or so, it's going to give you your weapon a new effect between bleed effect or poison or flaming. That was incredibly unfortunate. He got pinned in a corner and stun locked.
Oh, the tentacles! Oh my god! He probably feels really bad about that. I know Poulet a little bit, and I know that he was on a roll. He had everything he wanted to have, and that is a heartbreaker. But again, he died 2 rooms away from the boss, so he's going to be quite happy about. I know I am quite impressed by his performance, and let's go another run. It's only 48 minutes in. You have the time to at least get 2 or 3 other very good runs in.
So I'm seeing in the chat, Sand Knight, are we gonna get any commentary from the speedrunners after this?
I'd really, really love to. We're gonna see, because there is an event after this one. It depends on how long it gets set up. It shouldn't be too bad, so I assume it would be feasible. I'm definitely gonna propose it to them, but there is a show after this, so we just do not want to overstay our welcome. But yeah, thank you very much, by the way, to Speed Gaming for letting us do these small events. It's always so much fun, and obviously thank you very much to the Medievalian developers for making the game. All of this together really make our job at Before You Run super fun to do, and always exciting to see some indie developer come up with such great game.
Absolutely. I haven't put a ton of time into this game, but the amount of time I have put into it has been very enjoyable. I do like this game a lot, and anyone that enjoys roguelike style, somewhat open worldy type things, I think this is definitely up your alley, and you should keep it on your radar.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a million type of game like this one, but what it boils down to for me is how much items differentiate your playthroughs and how creative item gets. And so far with Medievalian, I really like how many item types there is in the game. The alien type weapon that neither of these two have been using so far is really interesting. It really brings like a big boom in exchange for, big cost. And I really like how game changer they can be. That's definitely something that I like. The weapon type with enchantments, sometimes you're going to get like such a great weapon. Sometimes the game is a little bit more greedy about giving you something good. And all of this really makes me want to, just do one more run. Because who knows, maybe this time I'm going to get a crazy weapon that I never thought I'd get.
Absolutely. I had the same effect. You can have a run that dies immediately, and you're just like, well, next time, surely that's not going to happen again. Let's do one more. And then you get a little further, something happens, like, well, if I did this instead, one more run. It's got that kind of pull to it.
Yeah, I gotta agree 100%. And the Diablo type enchantment for weapons really brings it up home to me. Making sure that it's not always about getting a Kranaken. It's maybe this time the Kranaken is gonna freeze enemy, and then you're gonna shoot super fast and freeze enemy permanently, and you're like, oh, that is good. So yeah, it brings just a little bit more randomness, which I really always like. All right, so both our runners are setting up, discovering what is the hand that the game is gonna deal them this time. They're gonna be exploring real quick, opening chests. This should be, like I say, pretty good. Don't underestimate the enemies even in the early game, but oh man, yeah. Poulet's taking some kind of a beating.
Just as you say not to underestimate the enemies at the beginning, yes. That is a very... I'm at a loss for words. It's...
Oh, that's fine. But yeah, definitely never underestimate them. You're going to pay for it really quickly. They're going to make sure to make you pay for it. And the type of enemies, like their HP obviously go up, but the type of enemies doesn't change too often. So like the enemies you encounter in the beginning are the enemies you're going to encounter at the end. There's going to be more of them. There's going to be a few new ones, like the Grenadier or the kind of lizard that shoot fireballs. but you cannot encounter them early on. But they're gonna have like mid bosses and stuff like that. It's gonna get out of hands really quickly. Don't you worry. Right, so making sure to just explore. Exploring is really important because I thought at first that, you know, speedrunners would see an exit and just take it, but I'm not sure that's super clever. Like, yeah, it's going to bring you to the next stage very fast, but is that really what you want? Because you need to kind of get far as well, and if you get to the next stage and just die, that's not going to help anyone, right? So I guess you want to go and check for chests.
It's an interesting dynamic because killing the enemies themselves mostly just gives you the opportunity to loot whatever room they were in. There isn't an experience meter or anything. You don't necessarily get anything for killing the enemies. You just get the opportunity to roam free and do what you want after the fact. So it's definitely a balancing act between keeping your health up, or do I want to search one more room and try to find maybe a better cooldown item, or maybe a better weapon, or even some healing. You know, if I can get through this encounter and find a cheese wheel in a box, you know, that could be a boon, an incredible boon.
Yeah, and that puts some pressure on you to, you know, just not do it and then lose more HP than the cheese wheel is worth, and maybe there's not even a cheese wheel there. So yeah, it's kind of a rough, like you say, everything is like trading. It's always like trading risk versus reward. But once you get that item, like, it is item dependent, because even though this is very skilled based, if you have a crossbow that shoots for 8 damage against enemies that have like 200 HP, that's not going to cut it, right? So you need to have skills, but also you need to make sure that your gear scales up with you to at least some extent. And some weapons will make the game a little bit easier as well. Like we said, the repeating crossbow is a favorite so far, but maybe the better we get, we think that that's actually was a very bad weapon because of its low damage. These kind of games are going to be evolving really fast as soon as this gets out, and I can't wait to see like speedrunners actually becoming speedrunners of this type of game. And that's another thing. If you know where I come from Azure Dreams. For speedrunning, if you know anything from me, some people would be surprised that people speedrun game that actually cannot be learned. But to me, it's actually quite the opposite. I really like those very RNG dependent games being speedrun, even though it's really hard to have consistent times. The strategies you can develop and the thinking on the fly and stuff like that is really what makes it really interesting to me.
Making a run. That was unfortunate. The tree cover doesn't help you against the flying orb, unfortunately.
Exactly. Orb. Sorry.
You're forgiven. I mean, I did kind of walk into that one. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Oof, that's not easy on Poulet Sans Tête side either. The game is definitely being like, okay, you guys got far last time. Yeah, not this time. Poulet's still surviving, but man, the game's playing serious. And I don't think he's got any good weapon on him either. That's really like...
I think he's rocking a basic crossbow, unfortunately. He does have the black hole bomb that he used earlier to his advantage, trying to keep that other dog locked down. I like his play here, where he's focused. He lured the boss away from the other enemies to take it out first, so the beam would go away. That's a good play. And he got rewarded with an upgraded bow. I mean, it is a bow. He did seem to be doing pretty well with it earlier.
Yeah.
And it looks like it has some kind of an enchantment on it as well. So hopefully that plays out well for him.
Yeah, that's a blue bow, so it definitely has some enchant on it as well. And it's the piercing bow, like the composite one, the one where you charge shots. And so far, that's the bow that he used the most. That's the weapon he used the most, as far as I can remember. So I feel this is like the kind of weapon he's very comfortable with. When he saw that he had a choice, he automatically took the bow. Even though, like, obviously he was needing for an upgrade in terms of weapons, but that definitely saw something he was quite happy to see. Using the teleporter to move fast through the stage. And where is he going? Okay, exploring again. You see, those first 2 or 3 stages are really much longer because they take their time to set up a build, and once they have it, they start running really fast into it, which I really think is interesting. This is very similar to what we do in Azure Dream, which again is a roguelike type of game, even though that's more of an RPG and turn-based and stuff like that. And I think that's interesting to see that even though these are 2 very different games, these guys are actually going for a very similar type of approach. First, set up, get strong, and once you're strong, you can start to go very, very, very fast. And exploration become much less important the further you're in.
Absolutely. Designing a run around mitigating as much RNG as possible is always a fun watch, in my opinion. And this game seems to be right up that alley. So I am looking forward to seeing how other runners manage to get through this game.
Absolutely. And, you know, this is sometimes, well, I was going to say there is no runner for this game. Well, there's 2 now. But the point is, like I said, this game is not out yet. So if you in chat want to be a speedrunner of this game, and sometimes, you know, some communities are already so full of really good players, sometimes it's intimidating for people to get into speedrunning. And I understand that. Well, there's nothing to be intimidated about in this game. There are no speedrunner for this game yet because the game doesn't exist, right? It is in beta. Some people have put their hands on it. We are part of it, but you know, this is going to be something brand new. It's getting out soon. I know it's soon. I know it's somewhere in February. If the developers are still in chat, maybe they can. If they have a release date for the game, you can just drop that here. That'll be fine. But yeah, February 11th. So it's really, really, really soon. And so if you want to be like the first speedrunner, the one designing the community, the one designing the strategies, see the game evolve, then that's easily something you guys can do. I'm sure that either you can make a Discord for the speedrun of the game, or there's going to be one made day one. Don't you worry about that, and join it easily to see how a game is actually developed. And I can't wait to see that community create stuff, and you know how the game is going to be evolving, and how they're going to say week 2 how our strategies was bad and how crossbows are useless.
Oh, that was unfortunate. Autumn tried to open an energy chest and got blown up by it. Fortunately, it didn't kill her, so there's still room for some healing and, you know, make some plays.
And that's where the game becomes scary, because, you know, any mistakes is going to get you. So you start playing extremely cautiously, but still, she got a bomb going, and that was really, really good. There you go. So we've seen that event on Poulet's side before. You can break the crates to reveal enemies, but he's trying to not kill too much, to not reveal everything at once. So far, so good. And that crossbow is dealing poison damage, and man, is it hitting hard. Poulet's got a very decent weapon now. Right?
Yeah, he just made short work of a fairly difficult encounter.
Yeah, absolutely. And gets a chest for his trouble. And he's out. How far is he in the game now? Probably like stage 4 or 5, I'd say. And Autumn gets it, sadly. This is the end of another run. Each run making them... Oh, that's another run for Poulet as well. He's only on stage 3. Like I said...
He has an option to go to the blacksmith, though, which can give him an opportunity to increase the damage of his weapons and bombs and such. It doesn't look like he's going down that path, though.
Nope, going for another village with aliens in it, trying to get a little bit stronger. Now, obviously, yeah, I think with a good bow like that one, I would have gone to the blacksmith as well, but a stage is going to yield more resources than just upgrading your weapon maybe once or twice, right?
There's also no guarantee that he might have seen ahead of time that he's low on cash and assumes that he might not be able to upgrade it at all. That is a possibility.
Yeah, the first upgrade is like $100, but then it jumps to like 400 or 500. I don't remember, but it goes up really fast. All right, both these guys are going to be exploring again, making sure that everything is fine. I don't know what's going to be the cutoff for Pulis Not That to start thinking about, dashing it off, but I think last time was around about 4th. Did he dodge the bomb from the chest? Ooh.
He did. I believe he's encountered them and blowing up on him before. Either that or he was already prepared for anything.
A good dodge roll and he's out of the way. I like that.
Autumn making short work of the beast type enemies. She's come a long way since her first run.
And she's been playing against them often, and she really is mastering fighting them, because I know neither you nor me got ever good at dodging them. We just didn't play the stages they were in.
No, I try to avoid them as much as possible. They absolutely wreck me. I could never get my head around being able to dodge them, all of them at once. I think the best strategy I came up with was to just have a crank in and hope for the best.
All right, a new weapon for Autumn. It's gonna be trying it. It's a piercing bow again, a composite bow. It's gonna be really interesting to see her pierce the enemy now. It deals a lot of damage if you get the timed it as well. So yeah, 30 is gonna be a lot of damage. She's gonna be quite happy about that.
Poulet seems to be having a bit of a conundrum deciding what weapon he wants to take.
Yeah, he did pick up the new bow. What's that type of bow?
I believe it's the same bow. It's actually a lower rarity. He traded a blue for a green. I couldn't see what was on it. A legendary crossbow. Let's see how he feels about that. He has seemed to be quite fond of bows in general.
Yep. He keeps the composite longbow as far as I can see, but that crossbow is probably shoots red beams, so probably like fire. I think so.
I think that is bleed, and it's doing an incredible. It looks like he's two-shotting these enemies now.
Damn it. Okay, yeah, it's dealing stupid damage. I like it. Yeah, those legendary weapons definitely are game changers. This is definitely what I like from... Wow. Yeah, that lizard never knew what was coming for him. So we have good weapon upgrades going on both sides at least. Maybe a little bit more lucky on Pulis Not That side, but I don't know how it feels against normal crossbows. But that one will be like, a game changer. Also, we can point out as well that I'm pretty sure, I know Poulet is playing keyboard and mouse, but Autumn is playing controller, so that might change a lot of stuff as well.
I guess that is a good point to bring up. This game can be played with a controller if you like. However, you are going to sacrifice your ability to fully rotate.
Yeah.
If you see on Poulet's side, he can actually move backwards while he's looking forward and shooting. You can't do that on a controller. You actually have to do a kind of a quick 180 and shoot and continue running away.
Yeah,
it changes your playstyle actually quite a bit, but it is still possible.
Yeah, and I like that it's possible. There might be also like reason to play controller, but I do play keyboard and mouse personally, and I liked it. So we found the advantages of keyboard and mouse really quickly. But I assume there's that hurt on Autumn's side. But yeah, I assume there's going to be like reason to play both styles. The twin stick shooter type of gameplay has always been fun. Or actually, it's not twin stick because you press a button to attack. Yeah. All right.
Even though it does have a bit of a drawback playing on controller, I personally still preferred playing it with a controller. Yep. Now that could just be because I have fat fingers and couldn't hit all the keys that I wanted when I wanted to hit. So take that how you will. but I did still find it quite enjoyable playing on a controller. So
Says the guy that fared much better than I did. So while I was playing on keyboard. I mean, to this day, you're the only person I know in the world that has seen the first boss. Or the boss.
I'm also probably the only other person that you know that have played this game, other than the dev.
Everything's gonna be fine.
Let's just ignore that. Let's move on. Moving on.
So yeah, that crossbow on Poulet's on that side is definitely decimating enemies, but he is quite low on health and he's gonna need some healing real fast. I am not sure that he can be lucky enough to find a cheese wheel or something, but yes. Oh yeah, okay, get some health back. But he's definitely gonna need as much as he can because let's be honest here. It's not a question of DPS for him right now. It's definitely a question of survival, and the enemies are starting to hit pretty darn hard.
Autumn having her choice between what looks like 2 different repeating crossbows.
Wow. That's a beautiful problem to have.
It absolutely is, and it looks like she's stockpiling her unwanted items for future use now. So both runners are obviously learning on the fly here.
Yeah, and that's the magic of the show. This is the magic of having players run game blind. So the fact that they do not know how even the most basic mechanics are. We explained it to you because we played a little bit, but these guys didn't even have basic explanation, so they are learning how this works on the fly, and it makes it really, really interesting to see the human brain work and behind the scene and be like, okay, what am I even playing at now, and how does it work, and how can I get good at it? So Poulet decides to run with 2 freeze bombs. Really interesting, making sure he's got some CC to have time to deal some damage. I assume that they're going to be still bleeding while being frozen, so that might be a very interesting strategy, making sure that they are taking a take damage while not being able to move is probably a very good combination.
Absolutely. He might actually also get a damage boost against frozen enemies as well, which he might be playing to his weapon strengths with these.
Yeah, true. A lot of weapons I've seen can get enchantments like 50% extra damage against burning enemies. That would be very good if your bow can burn enemies, but obviously you need to be lucky to have a bow that both burns and then deal more damage to burning enemies. So you can use your bombs to actually deal those bad status first, and then use your bow to, rack up as much damage as you can. Oh, he's been walking onto the fire. Don't do that. That hurts quite a bit. Oof. Yeah, the lizard combo with the dogs and everything. That's not an easy fight.
No, the beast types are hard enough to deal with, and then now you have little patches of land that are also, death zones that you have to avoid.
Yeah, it becomes a problem really quick.
I do like the freeze bomb. Does seem like a good choice against the beast type monsters. Just anything that can lock them down for any amount of time is incredibly good.
Yeah, they don't dodge your shots very well. Like you said, they do run towards you, so obviously they're not hard to hit. It's just a question of do not let yourself being hit while you're shooting at them. So any type of CC is going to be doubly efficient against them.
Oh yes, Autumn got an event with 3 dogs. She almost came out on top, but the beast types, it's never just one hit. If you get hit by one thing, you're generally going to get hit by at least one more.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
You talked about it earlier at the beginning of the stream, but they do slow you once they hit you. So obviously their hits are going to be compounding with extra dogs or tentacles. And once you get it once, you're just in a loop of getting hit again and again. Now, obviously, melee enemies in a shooting game generally don't fare too well, but they have the exact combo of actions to make your time a bad time.
Absolutely. If you get hit, you're going to feel it.
Yeah, and they do hit pretty hard as well. So looting up some stuff, moving forward. Odom is definitely have time for another very good run. Like, she's got 17 or 16 minutes and something. That's probably around about the time you need to actually clear the whole thing. So she just need to go into serious mode, take up everything she's learned in 1 hour and a quarter, and bring that into one final beautiful run. And I know she can.
Poulet's just stocking up all of the freeze bombs on his side. Just had a choice between 2 more, and he ended up replacing his regular bomb with another upgraded freeze bomb. I don't think he'd complain too much about having an extra freeze bomb on this stage, though. I'm sure he's fairly content with that.
Absolutely, especially since both of them are purple. So,
here Poulet just found I believe he found an energy or an alien shotgun. And with his maxed out energy, he seems like he might be wanting to play around with it a little bit. So
good. It's been a while, but at least we're gonna see like how this fares in action. Maybe. So far, he's using the crossbow. Will we see ever some alien weaponry action? I understand why they might think it's just not worth it, but once you see that in action, you understand why it costs so much. And it costs a lot, but I mean, it's the right price, right?
If you value, put it this way, would you rather have some energy stockpiles or would you rather have your health stockpiled?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't necessarily open every chest on the map per se, but you're still alive and you can't beat that, right?
Sure, exactly. These traps, man. All right, so Autumn seems to have found some kind of an event. Did she throw money at the...
Yes, she found a man living in the bottom of the well that's giving her a choice between a health upgrade, I believe it's a power upgrade, and a money upgrade.
Huh. That's an interesting one. So, throwing money isn't too well. Speak with well people. Let's go, Autumn. Some traps. Right? Yeah, the numbers of traps on this specific run on both sides has been much higher than what we've seen earlier. So, yeah, that's definitely a much rougher one. Traps always gets me. Ooh, we have a legendary black hole potion. I think one of the freezing potions is gonna get out. Yep.
Absolutely. That is a must-have in my opinion.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna help, as in like it's gonna do pretty much the same concept or idea. It's gonna like CC enemy, crowd control them for a while you can actually dish damage. But yeah. Legendary one's gonna be really serious. So Poulet's gonna go for stage 4. We'll pop in some modifiers. Let's freaking go. So this is probably their last good run. They're gonna have to give it their all. If they die, they can absolutely attempt an extra one if they feel like it, no problem at all. But they already have done much better than we ever thought they would with the stage. Like it was what, like 8? Anyway, 2 stages before the end. Yeah, I'd be very surprised that if they died now, they would get a chance to complete or get better than what they had before. But this run might be the one.
It's never over till it's over, and regardless of what ends up happening, both runners should be incredibly happy with this, how far they've gotten. Like I said, yeah. I've put a few hours into this, and just on my last run did I get past like maybe the 4th or 5th stage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It took a while, and it was really impressive as well. But it's like it's the pressure of knowing you have 1.5 hours and you're gonna have to sacrifice some of it to just learning the game. Because you kind of need to get hit. You kind of need to, understand enemy attack patterns before you can actually feel comfortable about dodging it. You're gonna need to understand like how spending those things make stages harder in exchange for more loot. Well, how much harder does it make it? And you're gonna need to experience that before you realize, is that worth my time and my resources, or is it just like too tough for me since I do not control the game well yet? And I like that. I like that. So yeah, it's a lot of pressure on the runners, but they have been doing fantastic today, and I can't wait to see how this race ends. Poulet uses his money to heal a lot, as much as he can. Definitely the play here. At this point, you have the build you wanted anyway, so just get back that health and be. Oh my God, Autumn! Poor Autumn.
Oh no. Okay. The freeze bomb saved.
Oh no, there was another one left side.
No, that was unfortunate.
She played out of her mind, but I mean, pincering her in a corner. Well played, Autumn, though. That was really nice.
She still has about 10 minutes. She can, keep. Obviously, she can keep playing, and hopefully, she can, get a decent, get to a decent stage.
Yeah, for sure.
Poulet's spending all of his money trying to heal up as much as possible.
Yeah, he's chaining shops because it'll let him clear stages without having to fight, which is definitely a plus right now. He's got the gear he probably wants anyway. Doesn't mean he couldn't find upgrades, but And there's going to be an extra shop as well. So that one is going to be an encounter, but after that, it's going to be a shop.
Look at that pathway. Have 2 stages and then just events all the way up to the final boss.
Oh, that was what? Another shop? And then the next one is a shop as well, right?
It looked like it, yeah. It was some kind of an event.
Wow. Okay, this guy's on a roll.
Oh, and Poulet had a restock option, it looked like.
Ah, very nice. He's spending all the fat money he has. And he leaves. And then the next one is the shop as well. I'm pretty darn sure.
Another shop, yeah.
Wow. Yep, like I said, one of the strategies is probably to just do enough stage to find good enough gear and then, not fight anymore. If you have what you need, there's no experience in this game. You're not losing onto anything else and just having the gear you need. And I think he's got that. The legendary wormhole potion, the purple freeze potion, that legendary bleeding crossbow, I think he's fine.
He definitely has the items. Now, whether or not he has the health capacity to deal with the boss coming up is another story. But it looks like we might be seeing the boss.
Yeah, we need to, because that's the next encounter, and that was a shop. So unless he dies in the shop, which I don't think he can, he'll be fine. Wow, boss time. Let's freaking go. Let's go, Poulet. Man, he's gonna suffer. This boss is no joke. Oh, yeah, absolutely. The fate will come and get you, and it'll be now. The boss has been, learning the boss is going to be probably a little bit harsh. As in, maybe when you know a little bit more about how it's played, maybe it gets easier. I've only seen it once. It was Revan. Obviously, I was playing for it. But, yeah, that boss is no jokes. But the bleeding is really helping right now, so... The boss has got phases as well.
His legendary crossbow is definitely putting in work here, that's for sure.
Yeah, he can stay much further away and just play slowly, and yep, there we go. Yeah, don't get cornered in. Don't get cornered in. Okay, that's a phase change, that's fine, you get... And that's a problem. It's hit. It's hit. Oh, does he get it? Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
There we go.
fast learning on that phase definitely pays off.
And there we go, learning again, because that one you cannot hit him when in that state. And yes, the base of the tornado deals damage. And he's still trying to fight, but he doesn't understand it deals no damage, right? There we go. Now you can dish up some damage. Oof.
Oh, that's an attack I don't think I've seen.
Nope, I've never seen that one either. It's getting quite serious now. Yeah, he needs to get back to his further distance, trying to fight from afar. Tornado time.
He's under half health. He's doing quite well for his first attempt here.
Yeah, for sure. But he's below third health himself, so that's going to be quite rough. Dodge, dodge, dodge. Yeah, let's go. This is getting very scary.
Those freeze bombs paying off.
Yep, absolutely. Even though, sadly, you cannot freeze him during his weird animation, like the tornado and the... Okay, boss goes back in the middle and start rolling around. Oh, no!
Oh, getting stuck on him is not helping.
Nope, that next it is going to be it.
Oh,
Sadly,
unfortunate.
that's not that. During the boss fight, sadly falls to the ground and fate has gone back to him. 1 hour 24, but he reached the boss. I think that is gonna be our runner's run. That was amazing, man. Pula, let's go.
I did not expect either runner to make it to the boss. That is incredible.
Yeah, I made some rules about like if they ever reach or beat it, and I was like, why am I even making rules for that? But actually, you know what? They reached it. That's crazy. 1 hour and 24 minutes, and they actually went to the boss fight. That's amazing. That's exactly what I'll be looking for. Yeah, I knew I chose the right persons. And Autumn has been doing pretty good as well. She was 2 stages away from the boss and died to some like very bad setup, but nothing that she could have controlled over. Sometimes an encounter is just in a bad spot, too many enemies, and they're gonna, pincer you, corner you, and stuff like that. Man, that was fun. All right, we're gonna
sometimes there's just not really a whole lot you can do about some encounters with the way that the camera works. Sometimes you just come in at a bad angle, or the enemies are all just piled up in a bad spot, and there's not really a whole lot you can do with it. But both runners have made most of these encounters work out in their favor, and it's been a pleasure watching them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to let them finish the 5 minutes of gameplay just for fun. Obviously, I don't think Autumn can reach out to the boss during that 5 minutes, but just for gameplay and fun loop, let them have the full hour and 30. And then I'm going to see and check with them. Actually, I might want to poke them right now. Revan, if you would, do you mind if I just go back and try to see if I can get a small interview?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll be back in a second.
I don't know if we've actually seen any of the runners do this room, but this is like a kind of a mini boss room, kind of. Each corner of this room on Poulet's side has a brazier that you can light, and every time you light a brazier, it's going to spawn a few enemies. And once you have all of the braziers lit with all of the enemies defeated, you'll get a small reward. And you can never say no to health either. It's always a nice plus.
All right, both our runners are being invited to do an interview when they feel like it. I think we're good on time. Yeah, we have extra time to do in a small interview. That would be fine if they feel like it. But yeah, I really want to know about these 2 runners, how they have felt during that whole thing, because that must have been an ordeal, but at the same time must have been so much fun. I don't know. I want to hear from them. At very low health, just 1 or 2 health increase would have changed the outcome. Yeah, absolutely. Boss in less than 1 hour 20 minutes, very impressive indeed, for absolute certainty. I don't know. I just like seeing people try to tackle same challenges with different mindset. I am a big sucker for, how the human brains work and how people are gonna try and challenge this, and what clever idea they're gonna come up with And by combining all of them, this is what makes speedrun when you put like 20 or 30 clever people in a room and they start sharing what they've come up with. And then that's how speedrun is born, in my opinion. And I really like that. Right. I'm gonna go and grab Autumn real quick. That'll be taking just a second. I'll be back.
All right. Looks like Poulet's eyeing up this chest here that I don't believe he can open that chest. He does not have a key for it, unfortunately.
Hello, Autumn.
Hello.
Hey, thank you so much for joining the Before You Run today. That was such a blast, and wow.
It was an incredible run.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Poulet.
Hello.
First, Autumn, so the game itself, how did you feel about the game itself?
Okay, so I think it's like a very solid, just it's just like a really solid roguelike, right?
Mhm.
But there was a lot of like small, tiny things I didn't like.
Okay.
One of the main things that got me a lot, and I don't think it's necessarily bad, I guess, it was just like something I didn't really like, was when you got really you slow down when you're in combat, because I felt like it made it like a little bit too hard to avoid things. And so that got me a lot because I was expecting to be moving faster, and then I would just like run into projectiles.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Entering into combat slows you down a little bit, but then certain enemies also have a slow effect on top of that. And we had mentioned that in the commentary that some of the enemies just have perfect complementary skills for each other. You get hit once and it leads to 2 or 3 other hits. It can be quite difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for
Yeah, just
sure.
like the tentacles which get out of the ground and then you get murdered by the charging guys.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's what we're talking about. When we were actually practicing for commentary, me and Revan, we would actually always never choose a stage with dogs and tentacles in it. We always went for the robots, and that's when we started to actually clear more stages.
Fair enough.
One of the things that I realized neither of you did choose to go with, and that's fine because you both did really, really well. Congratulations, by the way, but neither of you went with any alien weapons with energy to spend on.
Yeah, I liked opening the chest on the off chance there was something good in it with my energy more than like using one of the weapons, because the main like weapons that I found didn't really work for my playstyle, it felt like.
Sure.
And so I just went with opening the chest with my energy instead.
Which worked. Pulak?
Sorry, yeah. I'm here.
Why, like, was that the same kind of like mindset that brought you to not use alien weapons?
Yeah, so the alien weapons felt a bit... first, they have an internal cooldown. You cannot just pump them even if you have a full bar of energy.
Mhm.
And it feels a bit clunky, I think, to use them. I'd rather be consistent, or try to be consistent, rather, with one weapon than having to switch in the middle of the fight. You already have 2 types of bombs. You have your semi-useless pet trap, which you can put everywhere, and it doesn't do much, but it's here, It's psychological reinforcement.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I didn't feel like they were really cutting the edge and that I wanted to use them. I found a very good bow, a legendary one, and I felt that it was really much stronger than the alien stuff.
Yeah, that could make sense. In terms of Autumn, actually, weapon switching was definitely part of your playstyle. Like, I saw you many times rock 2 different weapons and switch during a shot to another type of weapon to complement like both weapon style.
Yeah, like for example, the one run where I had the like repeating crossbow and the short bow, it was like really good because the short bow has like no range whatsoever. So I could like run in when the dogs, for example, right? I could like run in, I start the fight with my repeating crossbow, and then they charge at me. I back up, pull up my short bow because they're right in front of me now, and it does more damage because it has higher DPS.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
then I can, so that was like.
Did either one of you have a preferred weapon type? I saw Poulet seemed to favor the composite bow.
Yes, I really like the composite one. So the composite one I feel is the most, from what I've seen, the most complete weapon because you have a rapid fire mode for when stuff is close to you, and then you can just charge piercing shots and murder stuff from far away.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like I feel like that's like one of the better weapons, but I also really like the repeating crossbow.
Yeah.
Just because it feels like it has like it's just got like a really strong and like steady DPS, you know.
Yeah.
And you can definitely move while attacking, which is different from the Kranikin, right?
The when I was playing for some practice for the commentary, the repeating crossbow was by far my favorite weapon, followed closely behind by the Kranken. Just because I felt like the Kranken actually worked really well against the beast type monsters because they just run towards you and it kind of stun locks them to a degree, so you can kill them.
I agree, but then you have to be careful about the other monsters in the room, like the tentacles, which will just murder you. Mm-hmm. Also, I feel that it's not very strong in boss fights because of all the AoE voids they put on the ground, whether it be fire or ice. But I really liked using two, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So can we talk about the fact that you, Poulet, have reached the boss?
Yeah, but then what the hell? Why is he so mean? So I reached the boss, but I sort of cheesed it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not sort of, I really cheesed it. So to beat the game, I have two techniques. Yeah. Either I'm good at the game, which was not the case, or I look for cheese. And yeah, when I saw those merchant swapping encounter type items, I figured, hey, maybe I can just change every encounter to the boss, heal a bit along the way, and give it a shot.
Yeah. That worked really well, but the boss fight itself, man.
I wish I had double dash for the boss, really, because the rotating attack is a bit fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Autumn, you're the only one that has encountered a vampire lady, even though that run was actually your best run.
It was. I got so close.
Yeah.
Honestly, that like life regen was like so good. Like the vampirism is one of my favorite like mechanics in especially roguelikes because I feel like it just gives you a really good way to be consistent in the game. Because usually the trade-off, like it is in this game, is you get less max health, but like, you know, you can regen health by attacking. And so like I feel like that's such a good trade-off because it does make you squishier, but you also can be consistent because you're getting your health back like consistently.
Ooh. Yeah, so the cutoff was lose max 50% of max HP permanently in exchange for life stealing. Well, it says 1%, but it's one health every hit, right? So that did help Autumn quite a bit.
That
absolutely, because that was the run that the Autumn had the repeating crossbow, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's instant 5 health every time you hit something, and if you encounter an enemy with a shield, the shield actually recovers health for you as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Honestly, my only regret in that run was I didn't think about enough about manipulating the map. But if I would have just changed that last stage that I had died on into like a merchant, I could have just skipped to the boss because the next one after that was a merchant too. I don't know why I didn't do that.
You can swap the boss. However, I tried using a token on it, and it said, "Nope, it's red. Boss, it is for you."
Yeah, but Autumn was talking about the stage before the boss, I think.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I could, so I would have gotten further. Yeah, that was my bad. That was like my biggest mistake, honestly.
But I really like how these things that changes the nodes you're going through is really an interesting mechanics, both in a casual playthrough, because then you can make the run be your own and decide what you're going to encounter. But in a speedrun perspective, being able to change stages for quicker ones, like these small events battle or the shops, where it actually skips it, I think is a very interesting mechanics, because obviously a shop, unless you really have a lot of money, is not going to yield as much items as doing a full stage. So you're losing in some kind of a sense. But as soon as you feel comfortable beating the boss, you can actually make the game super fast by changing those stages into shops and just leave them, right? So I really like how much control you have over your run is what I'm trying to say.
I agree.
Yeah,
and to complement what you said, I think the boss is a really Dark Souls-like boss. He has a few simple mechanics, and now I've seen it. I think just with a double dash, you can just skip to it and kill it if you play well enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's not unfair like some of the monsters or the boxes. The boxes were very unfair. I got stuck and died the second time because of a box.
Yeah, the exploding boxes, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about the well? I saw that eventually you guys started skipping them, but Autumn, I believe, got the best result out of it eventually.
Yeah, I only skipped one of them, but it was an accident because I forgot about it. But most of them I was using because it was like I was getting really lucky. So most of the time it was a really good source of money. But the last well that I got, where I got like the event kind of thing with like the one dude in the well, I think that was like a really cool like event where you get just like a chance at like a, you know, like a permanent like game changing mechanic, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think the wells are pretty nice. I never talked to the wandering merchant, the guy who's asking for money, because I figured if it's like Shireen, it's gonna be a scam. It's just gonna take my money and not do nothing.
Yep.
But the wells were nice, except for the times the items were stuck behind the well. That was not nice.
Oof.
Yeah, the game is not yet released, so we assumed there was going to be some small bugs.
Yeah, it's not far, right? So
yeah, nothing was game ending, so I'm really happy about that. It was a really strong showcase still, but obviously there's some of the things are going to be some of the things are the things I assume I would see in some kind of a game that's still in beta. I'm gonna cut this off, but thank you so very freaking much, Autumn and Poulet Santet, for the run. You were absolutely fantastic, much better than me and Revan was when we were practicing.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure watching both of you guys run this game.
well, thank you for giving us the opportunity to run it.
Yeah.
I want to say a giant thank you to Revan as well. If you are in chat, please take a second to say thank you to Revan. It is his first time casting ever, so I know this was a big deal for him, and I want to say a giant thank you that he actually decided to come in today and do it with me. Thank you so much, Revan.
No problem. No problem at all. I had a lot of fun doing this.
And a giant thank you, obviously, to Speed Gaming for making the Before You Run showcase still a thing to this day. This is so much fun to showcase those games. There's going to be more coming up. I cannot talk too much, but there's going to be more coming up, more blind racer racing games. It's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned. Definitely there's going to be something more in the next coming weeks. And one final giant thank you to everyone in chat. You guys are awesome, and definitely these showcases makes only sense if you guys are in there having fun with us. Give a chance to go and take a look at the game. Thank you very much to the developers that took their time to actually come in and check the run. Thank you very much. And yeah, thank you so much for making such a cool game. I can't wait on the 11th of February to actually check the game out. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Night, for being here and organizing the event along with Speed Gaming.
It's been a pleasure.
I know it, yes.
Thank you so much, everyone, and see you around next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.